Oh, hey y'all, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, I'm glad that you found me. I hope you stick around. This is a continuation of the unboxing that I did for the Halloween Oracle. I just randomly pulled a card for each sign, and I'm going to give you the exact book reading of what that was. If you want to see an intuitive reading with my skills and not just reading from the book, check out my other channel, SouthernStrega Tarot. It'll be linked down in the description box for you. Anyways, these are the messages that I got for each zodiac sign. Starting with the air signs today. Aquarius, you're up first. You guys had the lamp. The keyword on the lamp was remembrance. It says, I light a single candle within a lamp for you, a single flame in the darkness that reflects my heart so true. It says, whilst it is a tradition to carve a jack-o'-lantern to scare away the spirits, it was an older tradition still to light a candle or a lamp on Halloween night and leave it at the window as a loving guide home for those who have passed, both as a symbol of remembrance and also as a kind of leaving the lights on for those who may wish to come home. The lamp was left on to illuminate the night and perhaps even the sadness that was felt because of the passing. The card reminds us that it is a positive thing to remember those who have passed by celebrating their life rather than mourning their death. For those with whom we did not have an easy relationship, or even those that we did not like, leave us with valuable lessons. Sometimes we learn more from our nemesis than we do from our friends, and so the darkness can illuminate our strengths and our true values so that we can live them more clearly and fully. All right? That was your message, Aquarius. Libra, you guys had Dawn. It came out in the reverse, but this book doesn't give a reversal thing, so just take heed to that. All right, make sure that you're following these things and you're not doing the opposite. Dawn, it says, the light after the darkness. After the darkest times, the sun will always rise. The dawn will always come. This can be no surprise. It says, whilst midnight is often thought of as the magical hour throughout the time, dawn has also its share of the mystical. All manner of magical beings had to return to their true forms by dawn. Werewolves, for example, and vampires could only be active whilst the rays of the sun did not pierce the sky. Dawn and deities of dawn heralded both hope and new life. Goddesses such as Esther and gods like Helios and Apollo were those who brought new life and the dawn's light to the world. The journey from the darkest night and to the soul to a bright and hopeful dawn is one of the deepest and most powerful heroes' paths repeated over and over and over in mythology. Should you receive the Dawn card, you are being reminded that there is always a fresh start and a new beginning to be had. Change is unstoppable, and even the most difficult times will pass, no matter how devastating they may seem. Hope is one of the most powerful, motivating forces in the universe, and it's being indicated here. All right, Libra, that was y'all's. Gemini, you guys had Night Song. And again, I'm giving these messages without comments because I do the intuitive portion I see from these cards over on my channel. So I'm just trying to honor the book for these for you guys. Gemini, you had Night Song. It was also in the reverse, but again, they don't do the reverses, so just be wary of this energy. It's called Hidden Talents. A ruby red bird singing in the darkness full of sound like an unopened present, ribbons still bound. A bird singing at night is an unusual occurrence, and those birds who are known as singers of the darkness are almost always considered sacred or frightening. For the Operatic Nightingale, through the hooting owl, hearing a bird that you cannot see weaving its magic through the night sky has captivated humans for millennia. In the past, at Halloween time, a night that the veil between the worlds was said to be at its thinnest, these night birds were considered either omens or messengers of the gods. Depending on the culture, their voices were perceived as good luck and a positive validation, or alternatively, a warning about continuing on a certain pathway. In some mythology, the night bird was able to direct us towards discovering our talents and true purpose, a kind of guide in the darkness leading us to the dawn. Should this beautiful but shy bird sing to you by appearing during your divination, know that you must unwrap the present of yourself. Look, some of the gifts within you remain unopened. The time has come to step into your true potential and claim all possibilities for yourself. There is no more time to waste, no more excuses. All right, Earth signs. Capricorn, you guys had Eternal Love. It said, love is love, and it transcends physical death. When the body leaves us, and our souls are above. Our possessions no longer, nothing remains but the intertwining of love. All of us are the product of a millennia of love. Our parents, and our ancestors by blood and ritual all have in some way created the DNA that weaves throughout our bodies. Love, in fact, powers life and death. When most of us first encounter death in our lives, we experience grieving too, and in some ways the feeling could be described as the absence of love and the absence of that person or being. But the kind of love that is often shared between family members, friends, and lovers, separated only by physical death, is the kind that poets wax lyrical about. That is truly eternal and transcends death. Should you choose this card, you are being reminded that love is the most powerful force in the universe. It is more powerful than death itself. Love lingers, it leaves its own legacy, and we should be aware of this every day that we live. For those that are ready for and desiring of a partner, it also indicates that a significant love is close at hand and to be ready to open up to this new experience. Beautiful, Capricorn. All right, Virgo, you had the Witch, and it was in the reverse, but they don't do reversals, so just take heed that it came out sideways. So that's the last card in the deck for this one. It says, the earthly weaver of the worlds, earth, air, fire, water, a woman lovely, a woman strange, weaver of the worlds, moon's daughter, witch, the catalyst for change. Witches have had a bad PR day for a couple of millennia now. Originally, the healers or cunning women of the village, the very word witch comes from the Celtic word wicke, meaning weaver or wise. When the new religion of Christianity spread through the land, the custodians of the old pagan ways, in part witches, were labeled as evil, and as we know from history, persecuted. They were driven underground or under the night sky into the shadows of misunderstanding and darkness. However, for the purpose of Halloween, let's look at witches as the weavers of magic and change. Through spells and rituals, and even through herbal recipes, yes, often brewed in a cauldron, they weave the powers of this world and the next into synergy that solves problems and heal. Holding the witch card means that you can weave your own change throughout your life, and that magic indeed's the foot. You must understand that you have power and it is real. It also indicates that others may be threatened by your developing personal power and that they may not appreciate or like the changes in you as you grow. Be prepared for this and do not be discouraged. New friends and better opportunities will be attracted instead. I feel like that was the negative part of that card, is that people aren't going to like what you're doing. Well, fuck those people. And then Taurus, you guys got trick or treat, mischief, and play. It says stalking and stomping, eyes shining and begging baskets, faces and bodies that are no longer ours, laughing skeletons and candy caskets. Trick-or-treating is such a fun thing to do, is it not? Yet why do we trick-or-treat? Ancient people understood that there were both mischievous and perhaps nasty spirits wandering around at nightfall at Halloween, as well as happier, more benevolent spirits. They thought that if they dressed as spirits themselves or other frightening creatures, that they would not be recognized as humans and attacked. The idea of causing a little chaos as one of these spirits was part of the imitation and the enjoyment of the night. The practice in medieval Britain was aptly called souling. Today's trick-or-treating is a huge event. We spend much time, money, and effort dressing up as our scariest creatures, and this has even extended to dressing up as our favorite celebrities and other pop culture idols. Instead of traditional candy apples and brambrack, we give out mind-boggling variety of candy. It matters not. The idea of frightening away death and darkness still stands. I believe that the modern trick-or-treating also unites communities by introducing our families and friends to those around us in a non-threatening and joyful way. Many of us do not know our neighbors, even those who live next door, and Halloween gives us an excuse not to be so reserved and to extend our boundaries. Should you receive the trick-or-treat card in your divination, it may well be time to examine the role that you play in mischief in your own life. You don't have to be a child to let go and have some playtime, and you can extend the fun to others. Sometimes we are afraid to make mistakes, and play is one way to alleviate that pressure that we sometimes place on ourselves to get everything perfect every time. Alternatively, it is worth knowing that there is a balance between manipulation and mischief. The former is not pleasant, and the other has its core a sense of irreverent fun. Alrighty, that was yours, Taurus. All right, let's move on to water signs. Pisces, you had winter. Oh wait, zombie's the last card in the deck, not witch, Virgo. Winter, the sacredness of pausing, and you had yours in the reverse, so take that as you will, Pisces. It says, lightly I step, for the earth falls asleep, a lullaby to rest and pause. the soul's secrets to keep. It says death is frightening, even though, or perhaps because, it is inescapable. However, as we move into winter, we know it signals a literal and metaphysical death. In some parts of the planet, the extreme weather means snow and ice buries all life, and the ground lies fallow and still. In winter, the earth slows down, and there is less light and often more wet weather. Many plants die back, many animals are less active, and traditionally, it was a leaner, more difficult time for those who worked on the land for a living. Winter often brought with it the end of a life cycle, a figurative or literal death. Should the winter card appear to you, it's time to let what no longer serves you die away. Where it seems natural and right to let things that have been bothering you for some time die back, take real action to change those things. Anything that is superfluous or extra and burdensome, release it. All right, Pisces, that was for you. Scorpio, you had ancestors and it fell out in the reverse. But again, like I said, they don't read reversals. Just listen to the message and take it as it resonates. The love and legacy of our DNA. I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. I walk in their footsteps. Their wisdom inside me remains. I am unique, yet carry a legacy. Their blood runs in my veins. Whether or not we know our ancestors, we are the product of those who have lived before us, DNA-wise. Externally, we may have the body type of our father, our mother's eyes, our grandmother's nose, our great-grandfather's skin tone. On the inside, it gets even more interesting. We know now that we can inherit the way our body works, blood types, genetic disorders, even propensities for aspects of brain function like introversion, musicality, and mathematics. Many pagan paths associated with Halloween believe that we are born perfectly imperfect to be exactly what we are meant to be. What does this mean? It means that the gifts of our ancestors have left us the unique synergy of the combination of the physical, mental, and physical that is created within us, sets us up perfectly to achieve our ultimate purpose. Should the ancestor card bring itself into your attention, know that you are ready and able to action your birthright of power. You have the support of those who came before you. There may be challenges or struggles, but you have everything you need to overcome them. You will prevail. Cancer, you guys had Lady de los Muertos. It says acceptance and equality. Pale, you step out of the night in red lace, full of flowers upon your crown. You bring the beauty to death, the equality and joy of the underground. The iconic Lady of Death with a pale skull-like face, zombie eyes, and rich red funeral flowers in her hair has become one of the most recognizable symbols of Halloween and the Mexican Day of the Dead, El Dia de los Muertos. The original model for this flamboyant Lady of Death can be traced back to the ancient Aztec goddess Mictecacatl. I cannot say that. Mictecacatl. As time went on, the figure remained balanced between beauty and horror and morphed into the Lady of the Dead and eventually into the more modern graphic figure of Katrina. It is also reported that her identity of the original Katrina was based on women who were very rich and had everything they wanted in this life. Yet death takes everyone equally, so it was a reminder that no matter how beautiful, rich, popular, or famous you were, in the end, death takes all. The Mexican culture has a long-standing history of laughing at death and seeing it as just another aspect of life. In some ways, death is the last taboo in many Western cultures. We tend to hide away our dying, and some of us may never even see the body of someone who has passed in our whole lives. But this was as much a more common occurrence in the past. Acknowledging that death is a natural process that will enter everyone's life at some point in time, and that perhaps until then we can choose to be life-affirming, takes away much of the fear. Take a light approach to the situation initially, and it may work out better. If you are holding on to something that does not serve you any longer, in particular material things, simply simplify and let it go. All right, Cancer, that was yours. Let's do fire now. Sag, you guys had Scrying. Let's see what that said for you. It says Scrying, which is intuition. Soften your eyes, begin the trance. Whole worlds are opened, begin the dance. Scrying is the divination technique of seeing unconscious images or images from the divine or supernatural appear upon or within a surface. People scry into a crystal ball, a black mirror, water, even the surface of ice. It is a very ancient technique and one traditionally enacted on Samhain. The keys to effective scrying are being as relaxed as possible, minimizing possible distractions, softening your gaze, and allowing. The enemy of the effective scrying is distraction, both from inside and out. Turn off the phone, electric lights anywhere where you can, any music, and if you are scrying outdoors, take the time to settle into the environment and listen to all the noises so that your mind will not need to break your focus later. It is also vitally important to settle the mind as much as you can. If you regularly meditate, you may wish to use those techniques, or otherwise, you can simply shut your eyes and focus on slowing your breath. This is usually very effective. If you have a specific question for the scrying medium, state it up front. Then, once you feel relaxed, turn your focus inwards. Imagine pulling your energy within you and then focus on the third eye point, the chakra point on the center of the forehead, just above the eyebrows, and imagine opening it. Then gaze in a soft, unfocused way at your scrying surface and simply allow images to form and observe what presents itself to you. Do not engage your rational mind. This is about receiving, not thinking. Should you pull the scrying card, I suggest you try it for starters. It also indicates that you may wish to develop your intuition further and not rely solely on the logical part of your mind for all the answers. True wisdom takes a balance of logic and imagination and intuition for true wisdom. All right, Leo, you guys had spider. And it came out reversed, but they don't count reversals. Just, pay attention to the more negative connotation if there is one with this. Let's see, spider. Community and web weaving. She spins her silk alone in the darkness with hope of collection, sticky with dreams, weaving the worlds a wide web of connection. Masses of sticky spider webs make any Halloween decoration complete. The idea of a haunted house covered in the artwork of Big Hairy Spider is a classic horror. Even those of us who appreciate our eight-legged friends still hurriedly brush off those stealthy webs if we run into them in the dark. Although most spiders are not venomous, humans have an innate fear of them. Perhaps it's the fangs or the poison. Perhaps it's all those legs and the way that they move. Perhaps it's where they live, often in the dark, hidden places, or the way our Western pop culture has demolished them by making them demonized them by making them giant, fierce, and man-eating. Some cultures, though, revere the spider in very positive ways. In many Native American traditions, for example, the spider is the creature that gives birth to all the animals and sustains the web of life. The goddess spider grandmother, and there is also a spider woman, is a key deity that brings wisdom, safety, and communication to all the tribes. She created and wove all the stars in the sky and makes the soft webs for those that we are troubled to rest upon, to be supported by. Spider webs can be seen as a symbol of connection, not necessarily entrapment. There is a fine line sometimes between a family or community supporting us and controlling us. This card looks at this discernment. It also suggests that you review the way that you communicate with the wider community at work or generally with others and take steps to improve this or do it slightly differently. It also indicates that there needs to be a balance between what you do for yourself and what you do for others. If we give too much to the outside, our strength diminishes and we cannot weave the supporting web for ourselves. Big Virgo mood with that. Aries, you guys had mummy change. There's your card. It says, the sand in his mouth, the bandages wound, jealous of the living, eternal life bound. The ancient Egyptians took death very seriously. Death was not seen as many of us see it, a finality to be dreaded, but just as the beginning of a new life and often eternal life in a better place, the afterlife. The practice of honoring and preserving the body through a complex process of mummification was central to ancient Egyptian culture. This was not just a physical embalming process, but a carefully enacted ritual process that ensured preservation in the next world. Many other cultures also mummified their dead, including the Incas, the Argentinians, the Maori, and many of the cultures of the Torres Strait Islands. In our modern horror genres, the mummy has become an icon. From early horror writing at the turn of the century to very popular films, The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, the plot normally revolves around the mummy returning to life and cursing and hunting down the living. The discovery of King Tut's tomb and other long-hidden Egyptian treasures in the 1920s in particular sparked an explosion in mummy-related films and literature. Should you pull the Moaning Mummy card from the deck, Know that change is inevitable and that no matter how hard you try, things will not be preserved exactly the same way. This card also indicates that this change will be for the better. The endings, the closed doors, the barriers. This is just a healthy pause and an indication that a change of tactics is needed. You are not cursed. You have just developed a pattern. You can take control and change it. All right? That was all 12 signs. And I also pulled a random one for the collective, and that was joy. That's that one. It says, rejoicing in the present. I stand here. I am where I am. Fully alive and present. Stress is a sham. It says, besides the whoo of a not so scary trick-or-treating ghost on Halloween evening, one of the most common sounds that you'll hear is laughter. There is so much joy at Halloween, and it can be one of the most fun nights of the year if we allow that into our lives. We lead busy lives, whether we are studying, run a household, have a demanding job, or all of them at once. It seems that there is little time for us to stop, be present, and enjoy exactly where we are at this time. It has been said that the first step of real change is stopping and acknowledging that we actually need to change. Whilst sometimes we might face that there is little to feel happy about and much to change, we can always feel grateful for something right now, and there's power in that position. It is time to find the joy in this moment and find that joy more often. Should this card come up in your divination, it heralds arrival of more happiness and profound joy into your life. It is a good omen. You're welcome, collective, for your good omen. Actively seek pleasure and build more of the things that give you personal joy or laughter in your life. After all, we build in appointments for the dentist. Why not for our own pleasure? Amen to that. Schedule me some happy time. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. I hope you enjoyed your unboxing and your general message. All right, catch you on the next one, y'all. Bye.